Good morning, first graders. Last week we read a fiction book, Martina and the Beautiful Cockroach. Today we are going to read a nonfiction book called Bees. This is National Geographic Bees. And you know what? Bees are my favorite insects. They are absolutely fascinating, and we could not live without bees. We are going to learn why. But let's take a look at some of our nonfiction text features that we have in this book. Let's see. We have, remember what this is called? You can read it, but it tells the different headings in the book and what page number they're on. Do you remember what this is called? Yes, the table of contents. So it tells what is in the book. And here we have the headings. And the headings are, remember, the big words that kind of give the main ideas for each part of the book. And those headings are in the table of contents. So let's look through the headings. The first one is buzz. Helpful bees. So what do you think we're going to find out about in this section? Yes, how bees help us, what they do for people, what we get from bees. Pollen power. We'll just do this section of the book that we're reading today. And 7 cool facts about bees. But there's more headings that we will read at the beginning of our section tomorrow. All right, let's also take a look. Besides the headings, we have captions. Remember what a caption is? Yeah, the words under the picture, and those are in orange ovals in this book. And we have these little green boxes called buzzwords. Now, a buzzword is like almost like open sesame, a special word that gets you what you want. Okay, but the buzzwords here are important words that we need to know for understanding bees. And they are found, do you remember what this is called? In the back of a book, where it gives you the definition of important words. Do you remember what that's called? It's called the glossary. And I really like this glossary because it has not only words, but pictures to help you understand. So let's take a quick look at some important words that we need to know in order to read this book. Okay, one that we saw in our heading was pollen. Remember pollen power? Well, what is pollen? Let's look in our glossary. It is a sticky yellow powder made by flowers, and it sticks to the legs of bees. And we're going to find out why that's so important. Okay, look at the other words. Hive. A hive is an open space within a tree, structure, or box where social bees live together. And that one looks like a wild hive inside a tree. Honeycomb is a sheet of 6-sided cells made of beeswax. And remember what the 6-sided figure is called? Yep, a hexagon. So bees make their honeycomb out of perfect hexagon shapes fitted together. And look at this. Nectar. This hummingbird is drinking nectar just like bees drink nectar. Nectar is a sweet, sugary juice that flowers make. And we have social bees. Social bees are bees that live in a group, but not all bees are social. And some are called solitary bees. Solitary bees, what do you think they are? If social bees live in a group, What about the solitary bee? Yep, it lives alone. So those are our important buzzwords in this book. Okay? All right, here we go. Let's start reading. We're going to learn about bees. This is Bees. It is published by National Geographic. It's written by Laura Marsh and published by National Geographic in Washington, D.C. Buzz. Outside, the sun is shining, the flowers are blooming, and the bees are buzzing. I'm sure you've seen a lot of bees outside recently. When some people see bees, they run. Others might not notice the bees, but let's stop and take a closer look. Bees are helpful. Our world needs bees. And it even has little jokes up here at the top. It says, what kind of bee is hard to understand? A bumblebee. Helpful bees. What do you think we're going to learn about in this section? What did we say? Yep, what bees do for us. And just look at the pictures. You can tell a lot by just looking at the pictures. What do you think we get from bees? By looking at the pictures, turn and talk to mom and dad or brother and sister, someone near you, and tell them what you think we get from bees by looking at these pictures. Yeah, this is a candle. Not sure what this is. We'll have to find out. And honey and fruit. How do bees give us fruit? Do you know? I'm sure some of you do. If you think you know, tell mom and dad or brother and sister how you think bees give us fruit. Okay, we are going to find out. Here we go. All right, bees help both people and plants. Honeybees make honey and beeswax. People use these things in lots of ways. All kinds of bees help plants make seeds. Seeds can grow into new plants. Some of those plants give us fruits and vegetables. We can thank bees for strawberries, apples, almonds, tomatoes, and many other foods. And let's read what the captions say. Beeswax is used to make candles and cleaning supplies. So what is it that's made of wax that cleans your hands? Yeah, it's soap. We use soap to clean our hands, and soap is partially made from beeswax. Yep. And honey is sweet and delicious. A bee sits on the flower of a strawberry plant. So how do bees make strawberries? Listen one more time. All kinds of bees help plants make seeds. Seeds can grow into new plants. So bees help plants make seeds. And we're going to learn more about how they do this later on in the book. But they help lots of plants produce fruit that we eat. Pollen power. Remember that yellow stuff? And you can see it stuck to the bee's body. When a bee lands on a flower, the flower's pollen rubs off on the bee. Pollen sticks to tiny hairs on the bee's body. Pollen is a sticky yellow powder made by flowers. This bee has pollen all over its body. When the bee travels to another flower, pollen from the bee brushes off onto the new flower. This is called pollination. Now the new flower can start to make seeds. So we just found out something more about what we learned on the previous page. Remember, we learned that bees help plants make seeds, and then seeds make new plants. So bees actually help plants reproduce and help them produce fruit. And how do they do that? Can you turn and tell somebody how bees help plants make new seeds that produce new plants? Yes, by pollination. That yellow pollen sticks to them and they carry it from one flower to the next. And when they do that, that's what makes the new seeds. Yep. And that is also what makes fruit. A bee's leg has special hairs that form a basket. The bee brushes pollen into the basket. Then it flies back to the nest. This pollen is used as food for baby bees. So look up close. You see those yellow things on the bee's legs? Those are pollen baskets. Let's read the caption. These pollen baskets are filled with pollen. Only female bees have them. Only the girl bees, the worker bees, have those things on their legs, the pollen baskets. And what do the bees do with the pollen? Yes, they carry it back to the nest as food for the baby bees. But as they're doing this, as they're collecting the pollen, they're also carrying pollen from one plant to another and pollinating and helping plants reproduce. This is what an empty pollen basket looks like. That's like the leg of the bee. This is what it looks like when it's full of pollen. Bees collect nectar from flowers. They drink nectar with their tongues. Some bees make honey out of nectar. These bees are called honeybees. So remember, I'm not sure if you learned this about butterflies, but butterflies have a long tongue like a straw, and it's called a proboscis. And bees have the same thing, this long tongue like a straw. And you can see it in the picture. See that long black thing? That's a proboscis. It's actually the bee's tongue. And it helps it to drink the nectar. They drink the nectar with their tongues. And honeybees use the nectar that they drink to make honey. And remember the buzzword? Nectar. It's a sweet, sugary juice that flowers make. Okay, 7 cool facts about bees. And when we're done, I'm going to ask you to turn and talk to someone and tell which fact you think was the most interesting. 7 cool facts about bees. Number 1, the garden bumblebee has a tongue that is as long as its body. Humans collected honey from bees as early as 6,000 BC. That is a long time ago. That is about 8,020 years ago. That's when people first started collecting honey. Bees have 4 wings, 2 large wings and 2 small wings. Bees can see colors. They are most likely to land on flowers that are blue, purple, or yellow. Those are the colors that they are attracted to. Farmers often hire beekeepers to bring bees to their fields. The bees pollinate the farmers' crops. So that's why farmers bring the bees to their fields, because the bees pollinate their crops, and that's what causes the plants to produce fruit. And farmers, of course, want the fruit to sell. Honeybees do a dance called the waggle. Scientists think that the dance shows other bees in the hive where the best nectar is. It's a way for the bees to communicate by doing that waggle dance. And number 7, about 1/3 of the food on our planet grows because of bees' pollination. Look at all those fruits that grow because of bees. Peaches, apricots, cherries, strawberries, oranges, grapefruit, pears, all of those fruits. So what do you think is the coolest fact that you just learned about bees? Can you turn and tell mom and dad or brother and sister? I think the coolest fact is that bees communicate by doing a dance. They can't talk, but they do tell each other where to find food, where to find nectar and pollen. I think that's cool. I think bees are fascinating. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the first part of our book on bees, and join me again next time for the second part of our nonfiction book on bees. I miss you, first graders. See you soon. Bye.